When we know what is east, only then do we know what is west, what is south, and what is north. There is a beautiful process and a beautiful concept called as Dikpalaka Devatas, the rulers of different directions. If you do a namaskaram to them every morning, whichever direction you go in, you will attain victory. Because they are ruled by certain forces. The east, it's a good opportunity to understand this a little bit in detail. The east is ruled by Indra. But Surya rises in the east, so why did we give it to Indra? Because they are the same. That is why Indra rules the east. What's the next direction? We're going clockwise. Nothing between east and south? What is southeast called in Sanskritam? Agneya. The intermediary directions will tell you the name of the direction, will tell you the name of the Devata that rules that. So Agneya will be ruled by Agni. East, southeast, Dakshinam. Dakshina is ruled by Yama. Yama rules this direction. What's next? Hey, only this side is answering. Southwest, also known as Nairiti. Nairitya, ruled by a Rakshasa called Niruruti. Absolutely. The railways that we have here is also the Southwestern Railways. So you will see that it says this on the board as well when you see it in any of the Indian languages. Then comes Paschima Disha, which is west. The west is ruled by? I don't know, Vinay, I thought you'll tell us. Varuna. All the western direction. That is why in Sandhya Vandanam, in the evening, one does a Varuna Prarthana. Because one turns towards the west and does this. So this is Varuna. Then comes northwest, called as Vayavya. Vayavya ruled by Vayu. Then comes north. North is ruled by Kubera. One version says Kubera. And finally comes Ishanya, ruled by Ishana, which is a form of Shiva. So these are the Ashtadikpalakas. There are two more, Urdhva Loka and Adhaloka. Urdhva is ruled by, remember that story of Shiva becoming a massive Jyotirlingam and Brahma going on top, Vishnu going below. Brahma went on top because Brahma is the ruler of the Urdhva Lokas, Vishnu of the nether regions. These are the 10 Dikpalaka Devatas. All of them are coming into being based on what? Based on one single anchor. When Surya is there, alone you know which is east, which is west. Without Surya, you cannot tell these things. So beautifully he said, Mahendro, Dhanadaha, Kalaha, Yamaha, Somaha, Apampatihi. He has essentially framed the world for you. The intermediate directions are coming as a result of these two. But he has essentially given you the simple grid that you need to identify that all these are forms of Surya. This is Surya Shakti which is hidden in the water and makes us call him as Varuna. This is Surya Shakti which is hidden in the clouds. We call him as Mahendra. This is Surya Shakti which is keeping our time here. So we call him as Kala or Yama. This is Surya Shakti which is blessing us with wealth in the form of crops, in the form of food, in the form of anything that we need. So we call him as Dhanadaha. Is it any different from Surya? It's all Surya's Vachas only. So this formation is laid out. Mahendro Dhanadakkalo Yamassomo Hyapampatihi Pitaro Vasavasadhyaha. This is where something beautiful, additionally from yesterday, because we set the context yesterday, it becomes that much easier to explore it. Yesterday we said that when we offer something into the Agni Devata takes it through Surya Mandalam and he offers it to whichever Devata. But this is amongst Devatas. Devata we can easily refer to as a group. But there is a beautiful concept of Vyavasthas, different departments within Devatas. One amongst them is the Vyavastha of Pitru Devatas. Vyavastha means department. The department of Pitru Devatas is not our ancestors alone. It's not our grandparents, their parents alone. They are taken care of by the Pitru Devatas. So what is the idea here? When we do a namaskaram to the Pitru Devatas, the Pitru Devatas receive our namaskaram, and when we offer the Pitru Devatas something, which we do through a shraddham, what do? They take the essence of that annam that is offered in the pindam or whatever format it is, they take the essence of that and they know where our ancestors are. So they pass on that food to them in whatever form they are. today, if we are sitting and we are able to eat this morning's breakfast, which we all had comfortably, it means somewhere somebody offered a shraddha for us from our previous lives with sincerity. That is why the Pitru Devatas transferred it. That is the cycle of continuity and gratitude that is maintained in the universe. How is Surya connected to all of this? If he has to pass it to Devatas or Pitru Devatas, it is Aditya Mandalam. It is through the Aditya Mandalam that it goes. So essentially the namaskaram that is given to Surya, if you look at Surya and do a namaskaram saying, may my ancestors be well, he will pass that blessing on to them. He will pass on the result, the phalam of that namaskaram to them. Can we change that one thing and say, may my ancestors be well? Because Pitru Devata Vyavastha is an elaborate Vyavastha in itself. But we may or may not know the technicalities of it. In essence, can we look at Surya and say, you take care of my ancestors wherever they are. So that is why in Agnihotram that happens in two ways. When we offer the mantram or we offer the ajyam with swahakaram, it is taken and offered to Devatas. When it is offered with Swadhakaram, it goes to Pitru Devatas. Swaha and Swadha are inseparable from Agni, so that is why they are believed to be Agni's Patnis. He is served by both Swaha and Swadha because he caters to both the requirements of the gods and to the Pitru Devatas. So by saying Surya is the Pitru Devata, what we are saying is Surya is watching over that department also. There's a host of other secrets here also, but we have to go ahead with the stotram. And I assure you, if I ever take up Aditya Hridayam as a course, then we will elaborate on Pitaro Vasavas Sadhyaha alone for an entire day. From here, Pitaro Vasavas Sadhya Hyashvino Maruto Manuhu. Come Ashwini Devatas. Surya brings health. If something is imbalanced within the health, which we will see the cause of in just a few minutes, Surya can diagnose that, Surya can treat that. That is why the Ashwini Kumaras are also there. The Ashwini Kumaras are always present with Surya. We will see this when we do the Ratha Dhyanam, which we will do later today. These, what we mean by saying the Ashwini Kumaras are always standing there is, when you look at Surya, automatically the grace of physicians is falling on you. Because those Kiranas have that Shakti. Rogaharana Shakti is there in Kiranas. That is why no amount of vitamin D tablets can change the effect of standing and doing one namaskaram in front of Surya. But if you do Adhika Prasangam and say, instead of standing and doing a namaskaram to Surya, I can also work out at Sandhya Kalam, it has the same effect. No, it doesn't. We have this obsession in today's world, which is again a result of our colonized thinking, that we want to hyper-attach everything to science and we want to find a scientific reason. So we will begin. You know, our rishis said that you must do Sandhya Vandanam and you must do Surya Aradhana so that vitamin D falls on you. Then they would have said, take a walk in the morning. But they said, sit with Ekagrata and look at the rising sun and offer a namaskaram and offer arghyam. The reason is beyond just the physical. The rishis' obsession is not just the well-being of the physical body alone. They have said to do 100 things for that. But their idea is that there should be uddharana of the jiva inside. The jiva inside will only have uddharana when we recognize that, oh, he's come again for me. Every morning when the sun is rising, it essentially means he still loves humanity. He still loves me. That's why he's come. And this habit, if we learn to develop towards him, that when we see him, we feel a sense of, oh wow, my Bandhu has come. My Atma Bandhu has come. Yesterday we mentioned the name of Surya, Mitra. What is a Mitra? What is the role of a friend in our life? A friend is somebody who stays with us till the end. Everybody else in our life will go, except Surya. Till that last moment, Surya alone will be there. That moment can come at any point of the day. Either Surya will be up in the sky or he will be present, dissolved in the air. But he is the true Mitra because he was there from the first second that you came till the last second that you go. That is why they called him as Mitra. That is the conception of this Devata. So this idea builds and continues to build here. When we see that with Surya, they call this as Aditya Hridayam. This is the title song, no? Aditya Hridayam. Aditya, what did we say yesterday? What does it mean? Son of Aditi. So when you take this name, it applies in three. Any name of Paramatma will apply in different contexts. One, the first context is from the visible context. Visible context what? Son of Aditi, Aditya. Son of Vasudeva, Vasudeva. son of Dasharatha, Dasharathi. Examples. One more context which will run below this, parallelly, is the eternal idea of this. What does this mean in all contexts? So before Surya manifested to Aditi, Surya was called Aditya even then. It suited the context perfectly. So he also became known as Aditya. Before being born as Vasudeva's son, Krishna was already Vasudeva. If you read Bhagavatam carefully, there is a story of Dhruva. When Dhruva goes to the forest, he meets Narada Muni. Narada Muni, this comes to you much before the Dashama Skandam, before the 10th chapter, where Krishna is called as Vasudeva. In the 3rd or the 4th Skandam, where the story comes, at that point, Narada meets Dhruva and he says, I will give you Upadesham of the Vasudeva Mantram. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. He came this before Krishna came as Vasudeva. So the context of Krishna coming as Vasudeva's son is incidental. Sarva Bhuta Nivasosi Vasudeva Namostute. Vasudeva means he who lives in every being's body, and he is glowing from there. He is called as Vasudeva. He was also born as Vasudeva's son, so he is also called Vasudeva. This applies to every single name of Paramatma. The nomenclature is not ordinary. So here, Aditi Putraha iti Adityaha is just one namam which is suiting that context. He who was there at the beginning of all things, when Brahma uttered Omkara, and that Omkara is what manifested over here, that Omkara is called as Aditya. That Omkara which was there at the very beginning, Omkara Swarupa, that is called as Aditya. Aditi refers to Akasha. So this is the cosmic understanding of this name. Aditi refers to Akasha. In Ananta Akasha Shakti, there was born one source of light, that is Surya. So they essentially explain what is happening on the horizon through one name. Saying it is this massive sky. In this massive sky, there is this powerful glowing form of the divine that has appeared in front of me. That we are calling as Aditya. Aditya means, Diti means to cut. Aditi means that which cannot be cut. Parabrahma is that which cannot be cut, which cannot be broken, which remains eternal and remains untouched. So it goes into Vedanta. It goes into Vedanta if we are ready to see it. I know that there are some Ganapati Upasakas here, so just to continue that idea on Surya and Ganapati, this is coming as a prompt for whoever is meant to receive it. Ganapati and Surya are also connected through this very Omkara. Yesterday we said Brahma uttered the word Om, and that from that Om, all of the universe came into being. And we also said Om does not belong to any lipi. It does not belong to any language because its Akara is very, very different. That Om, the Akara of Om is a Gaja Vadana. We all know this because it happens in art all the time. That you can see an elephant's trunk very clearly in it. That Omkara manifested, and you will see two Puranas handling the same subject differently, and that's where the confusion can begin. But the idea is the same thing. It appeared to him in one context as Ganapati, saying that I am at the center of this entire universe. I am there in that Surya Mandalam. That Omkara Swarupa is the one who had Omkaram Tat Vapuhu yesterday we said. Tat Brahma Tat Vapuhu. That Parabrahma had the Swarupam of Omkaram, first in the Akaram that it came, then in the entire body that he took on. So when you just see it from this perspective, the Namam will have a very different meaning. This idea of Aditya Hridayam. So Aditya is this cosmic phenomenon that is in the skies. Aditya is that Parabrahma who can never be defeated. Aditi prayed to him. Why? Because she wanted her sons to win, so that the Rakshasas were balanced and they were conquered. When you do Aditya Upasana, within us there is eternally victory. That is the idea of saying Aditya Hridayam. There are about 16 plus meanings of this word Aditya. And each of them goes to a different level of philosophy. The idea of saying Hridayam, why did they use the word Hridayam? Hridayam means heart. Heart is where the essence lies. The essence of Aditya is what? Is it heat? Is it light? Stay with that question. What is the essence of Aditya? Because they called it Aditya Hridayam, not Aditya Stotram, not Aditya Namam. They said Aditya Hridayam. This same Aditya Hridayam we spoke about yesterday, saying it comes in Bhavishyottara Puranam also, where Krishna talks about it for 7 chapters. He talks about the greatness of Surya to Arjuna. So something powerful in Aditya Hridayam, in that title, which we will decode in some time. But sit with that question. Why did they call it Hridayam? What did Agastya say to Rama in the beginning? Rama Rama Mahabaho Shrunu Guhyam. Guhyam means? Which means everybody please close all the doors. Because I'm going to tell you something very secretive. Guhyam. If you see Lalita Sahasranamam also, Lalita Sahasranamam is called as Lalita Rahasyanama Sahasra Stotram. Rahasyanams. There is a secret here. Chidambara Rahasyam. Why did our people tell so many secrets? These are not about secrets in a literal sense. The word Rahasyam, Guhyam means you cannot understand this through mere textbook definitions. Just by knowing this name means this, you will not understand it. It will not sit. Yani namani gaunani vikhyatani mahatmana. Same idea. These namams have one textbook definition. But Rahasyam means you can only understand this if you sit with that namam, if you constantly chant it, if you spend time with that namam will reveal itself to you. That is what is meant by saying these are secretive names, because you quickly read them and you move ahead. You'll miss the essence. But you stay with it, go back to it and say, what else does Aditya Hridayam mean? What does Aditya mean? That namam will open itself. We don't have to look into textbooks. We don't have to worry, what books can I ask my children to read? You let your child see you doing namajapam. They will follow that. That bhavam, if we can inculcate, then we realize, oh, this is the rahasyam. That I have to sit with it. And the rahasyam speaks to each person differently. It spoke to Rama very differently. It will speak to us in very different ways. So this is Aditya. This is, of course, the namas can go on from here. But here starts a very interesting set again. Suvarna Sadrusho Bhanuhu Swarnareta Divakaraha. Twice the same idea is coming. Suvarna Sadrusho. Suvarna means gold. Swarna means, in the same line twice they are saying gold. Why? Suvarna. Su is what? Good. Varna means, so gold is a good color. That's what they're saying. Suvarna. Beautiful name. Swarna. Swarna is the sandhi of this. No difference. But they're mentioning both in the same. The idea is this. That color, which is a combination of two of the most auspicious colors. One, the color that comes at the beginning of everything. At the beginning of the day, what color is Surya? Red. Varnanam adyam lohitam. Amongst varnas, the first color is lohitam. Lohitam is red color. So the first color that comes is red. That and yellow are supposed to be the most auspicious colors because they bring a sense of bounty with them. Both those are Surya's colors. Red, because of the rising red sun, that is why we have said red is the most auspicious color. Because when he comes, there is day. If there is day, we are all safe. If it is night, everything is unsettling, it is dark. When there is day, there is Shubham, there is auspiciousness. So, day is because of Surya. As soon as he rises in the sky, he is suddenly becoming yellow. That red is mixing into yellow and causing that golden. That combination of two colors, of red and yellow, together is called as Hiranyam or Suvarnam. Suvarnam means that Varna which is beautiful to look at, which is Surya's color, which has also been given to gold. So when we say Suvarna, we are saying Surya. It is essentially his namam. This idea of Suvarna, of Hiranyavarna, Hiranyam also means gold. But look at this beautiful word. Surya is called Suvarna, he is also called Hiranyavarna. Hiranya, what does it mean? Hiranyam is made out of two words, Hita and Ramya. Hitam means that which is good for us. Ramyam means that which we enjoy, which is beautiful. Mostly in nature, in our lives at least, they don't go together most of the time. What is good for us is really not something we want. What we want is not good for us. A diabetic really does not enjoy hagalkai juice. That is hitam for him, but it's certainly not ramyam. Similarly, what he wants is a jalebi. That is ramyam for him, but not hitam. Is there anything in this universe which is good for us and which is something we can desire? Paramatma and Paramatma alone. So Paramatma is called Hitam and Ramyam Hiranyam. I don't say the same thing about gold. The idea here is Paramatma has that capability. That Paramatma is what the Atma needs. But if we can that is what the Atma always needs. Just that connectivity with him. But if we can focus ourselves onto Paramatma and say, this is what I want, then it becomes an upasana for Hiranyamaya Vapuhu. Oh, one who is this Vapuhu, whose body is something that I want and I need to be in your proximity. Then the prayer changes. Now these words that I used, Suvarna, Hiranya, do they apply to anyone? Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarna Rajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Maavaha. Let's see that entire verse. Who is it referring to? Think again. Hiranyavarnam, O one that is in this glowing color of red and yellow, Suvarna Rajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim. Chandra, Hiranmayim is Surya. Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedo Maavaha. Who is this Jataveda now? Jataveda is the name given to Agni. This verse, the opening verse of Sri Suktam is saying, O Agni, O Jataveda, please invoke that Lakshmi who is Hitam and Ramyam. Let her grace fall on us. This is the process of bowing down to Surya. It is bowing down to Surya Kiranas and saying, O Surya Kiranas that have Jataveda Shakti, may your Kiranas fall on us and bring us Sampada. Sampada does not mean bank account increasing. It means may there be well-being in my environment and within my body by your grace, O Surya. That is what you mean when we say Hiranyavarnam Harinim Suvarna Rajatasrajam Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim Jatavedoma Avaha. I am inviting you, I am invoking you. Durga Suktam. Tam Agnivarnam Tapasa Jwalantim Vairochanim Karma Phaleshu Jushtam Durgan Devigum Sharanamaham Prapadye Sutaresitarase Namaha. Same idea. I am looking at this Agni, this Mahagni in the sky, and I am bowing down and I am seeing it as Devi. I am seeing this Agni as the source of my riches. This Agni has all the riches. Dhanam Agnir, Dhanam Vayur, Dhanam Suryo, Dhanam Vasuhu. This is what Vedam is saying. Dhanam is not what we think. Dhanam Agnihi, Dhanam Vayuhu. Having clean air is a great Dhanam. In that sense, we're pretty poor in Bangalore. Dhanam Agnir, Dhanam Vayuhu, Dhanam Suryo, Dhanam Vasuhu. Having healthy soil around you, that is Dhanam. Dhanam Vasuhu. Dhanam Indro Bruhaspatir. Having clouds that are not bringing acid waters onto you, that is wealth. All of this source is where? Surya. That is why they said, want to read Sri Suktam? The best way to read Sri Suktam, two ways. Light a lamp and read Sri Suktam for Ambal, or look at the rising sun. The lamp is already lit over there. Look at the rising sun and read that very Sri Suktam. The bhavam will change. Suryam Hiranmayim Lakshmim, Chandram Hiranmayim Lakshmim. You'll realize it's all about light. Because this culture is obsessed with light. What are we called in this culture? We are called as Bharatiyas. Bha means prakasham, bhanu, bhasayati, to glow. Bharatiya is made up of two root words, bha and rati. Rati means ishta, desire. Rati means to follow something when we have a desire. Kamadeva's wife's name is Rati. Because desire alone is not enough, we need to follow that desire. Then only that desire gets fulfilled. Bharati means somebody who is in constant quest for light. That is what this civilization has been called as. When we call ourselves as Bharatiya, that is what it truly means. That we are in search of a light from above. We are constantly of that light within. And Surya is called Bhanu, Swabhanu. That light is here. That light is outside. You look at that light as the mother. Ambal has a very strong connection with Surya. One is this idea, just through names. Even in Sahasranamam we are reading this, Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha. She is in the center of the solar system. But if you see Ambal's description, you will see that she has two earrings. Tatanka Yugali Bhuta Tapana, Udapa Mandala. Tapana means Surya, to burn. Udapa is Chandra. Surya and Chandra are Devi's ornaments. They are her earrings in one version. Another version says they are her eyes. Another version says they are her breasts. Look at the beautiful context associated with each. They are her earrings because they are worn by her as ornaments. She wears them and she removes them when she feels like. Meaning, she controls them, they don't control her. Surya and Chandra control our lives. When we are born, it is written, this many Suryodayas he will see. But for her, that does not apply. They are in her control. She is not in their control. Number one. This is when she wears them in her ears. Second thing is, they say that if you want to do any papa karma, they say it, I am not saying it. If you want to do any papa karma, you should see a time when Chandra and Surya are not there, that time you can do it. So anyway, Chandra will not be there on Amavasya. So that day is there. But the Surya is there, dissolved in the air around you. So that is the only time you can do it is when that Surya is not there, which means you cannot do it. Because whatever you do gets reported by Chandra and Surya because they are constant Jagat Sakshi. They are Jagadeka Chakshu. He is Jagadeka Chakshushu. He is constantly watching every being, and when he watches, he reports it directly to Ambal because he has proximity here. So he can directly say, Amma, this is what this person has done. And she takes note of the Papa and the Punya Rashi of every being. This is with respect to Surya and Chandra being her earrings. Why do we say that they are her eyes? Because she gives light to the world through this. When you see the light of Surya, can you look at it and do dhyanam saying, this is Ambal's eyes. This is the eye. This is the Akshi of Amavaru. There is a phenomenal Vidya called as Dakshinakshi Vidya, which talks about the power of Ikshana Shakti. Ambal's names are all about her eyes. Meenakshi, Kamakshi, Neelayatakshi, Vishalakshi. They're all about her eyes because her eyes have the entire universe in them. Unmesha Nimishotpanna Vipanna Bhuvanavalihi. She doesn't blink because if she blinks, we'll all be gone. Time is relative here between these lokas and other lokas. So when she keeps Surya and Chandra here, she is just doing that to remind us, I am watching over you. There is nothing to fear when I am there. And finally, she has Surya and Chandra on her breasts. Essentially, a mother uses those very breasts to nourish her children, to give them her stanya kshiram, her breast milk. That breast milk comes from us as Surya Kiranas. Surya Kiranas are that very breast milk which is making all life on this earth grow, and then we are receiving that nutrition. Can we look at the Kiranas in that fashion? Then the entire approach changes. One goddess, one Surya. They changed the iconography in 3 places, saying here, here and here, and essentially showed us that all of this is coming from her to us as nourishment. And when we bow down to that, we recognize Surya no different from her. That is why Bhanu Mandala Madhyastha. So this set of names from Suvarna Sadrusho Bhanuhu, especially this name Suvarna Sadrusho, connects to this idea. Yesterday we spoke about Dr. Savita being one of the forces leading this. Another is Swarnaka. Aditya is choosing Aditya's Katha through his own namesakes. Suvarna Sadrusho Bhanuhu Swarnareta Divakaraha. Now comes the fascinating part of Aditya Hridayam. Haridashwas Sahasrachi Sapta Saptir Marichiman. I told Savitaka when this got fixed, I will not be able to take up every namam in detail, but I will need a minimum of 25 minutes at least to take up one namam. That namam is about to come up for us in 30 seconds. But before that, Haridashwas Sahasrachi. Haridashwaha. This Ashwaha means horses. Haridashwaha means the one who has green color horses. Haritavarnam. Haritavarnam is green. Surya's horses are green. Why? If you had to venture a guess, what do Surya's Kiranas do when they fall on plants? Photosynthesis. The element involved in this is chlorophyll. What color? the life-giving rays of the sun, which cause the entire process of photosynthesis and thereby sustain all life on this earth, are metaphorically represented by rishis at a time before this wisdom was recognized by the entire world as green colors, saying this is the source of all life on the earth, metaphorically and literally. That is why Haridashvaha, O one who has green horses. Can you do a namaskaram to his horses like that? It's coming from him. The source of life is coming from him. Sapta Sapti. Surya's number is 7. Any connections to this number, to his festivals? Ratha Saptami. Radha Saptami is one of the 24 Saptamis. All the 24 Saptamis have different names in Shastrams. Amongst them, the most powerful one that we still follow, many of us follow, is Radha Saptami. Ratha also has to do with him only. But this word and this number 7, Sapta and 7. Surya has 7 horses. What do these 7 horses signify? So those of you who have a notebook, you take a note of how many 7s come. Okay? So let's explore a little bit. What are these 7? So 7 days. Okay, we'll take one at a time. Let's take 7 days. How do the days come into being? So sunrise to the next day sunrise is counted as one day. But how do you determine that today is Bhanuvasara, tomorrow is Somavasara, day after is Mangalavasara, Kujavasara or Budhavasara, whatever it may be? How do you determine this? At the time of, there is a phenomenal calculation involved in this, and I'm not getting into the details of that, but at the time of sunrise, whichever graha's hora, meaning the pull of that graha is felt at the time of sunrise, that graha's pull extends through that day. So when Surya is rising on one particular day, it is Surya Graha. Now it may get a little confusing and I will clear that up. At the time of Surya rising, Surya himself is rising, his own effect is maximum at the time. So that day is called as Aditya Vasaram or Bhanu Vasaram. Same thing got adapted in English as Sunday. The next day, there is a way of calculating this. It's not an arbitrary figure. Correctly 24 hours later, when Surya is again rising, at that time, Chandra's hora is maximum. Chandra is also called as Soma. Yamas Somo Hyapampatihi. Yamas Somaha. Soma is Chandra's name. So, Somavaram. Also called as Induvaram, Induvasara. The next day, at the time of Suryodayam, which graha's effect is there? Mangala. So Mangalavaram. Similarly, Buddha. Similarly, Guru or Bruhaspati. Similarly, Shukra, Shani. So these are 7 days that have come into being based on sunrise. Based on the column of sunrise and what comes into being as a result of that. So, when you see the 7 horses, this is just about personifying those 7 horses. And how do you look at the one who is coming with those horses, who has those horses in his control? He has a charioteer. I'll talk about his story in a while. But when you look at this aspect, the 7 days of the week are governed by one Kala Purusha. That Kala Purusha is Surya Bhagavan. This is one reason he has 7 horses. Any other associations with 7? 7 colors. One form of light is coming. Put that light through a prism, you'll get 7 colors. Your Vibgyor is nothing but this. The one who is there is completely the manifestation of all these together. He splits himself into 7, and those 7 are the 7 horses that then reach us, that make that light reach us. Those 7 horses are the Surya Kiranas. So this is looking at Surya as Kanti Swarupa, the source of light. The first was the example of looking at Surya as Kala Swarupa. Now Kanti Swarupa. What other 7s are there? Sapta Rishi. Okay, we'll come there. There are some more metaphoric 7s waiting to be discovered. Sapta Swara. Sa Ri Ga Ma Pa Da Ni. Coming to you from where? What is the source of all these Sapta Swaras? Omkara. So when you look at this, at Surya as Omkara Purusha, that Omkara splits itself as Sapta Swaras. Those Swaras then become mantras. Those mantras then come into Vedas. Those Vedas then become our foundation for civilizational thought. All this from one Omkara Swarupa. Brahma saw Omkara manifest there. That Omkara splits itself as Shabda Purusha in two ways, Nada Purusha in two ways. One is Sarigama Padani are the seven horses. There is also a phenomenal system that we have, that we call as the Chandas. Chandas is a meter. It is something that dictates how something needs to be chanted. So if, for example, the most standard Chandas is Anushtup Chandas, which has 32 syllables when you break it down. So those 32 syllables need to be chanted in a specific way. The breaks are at certain places. That is one kind of Chandas. There are 7 Chandases like that. Can we learn their names? Because those Chandases are Devata Swarupas, because sound is Devata. So this Chandas is Anushtup, Gayatri, Ushnik, Brihati, Pankti, Trishtup, Jagati. 7 Chandases, 7 different ways of chanting Veda mantras, ruled by who? One Veda Purusha. The combination of all that Veda Nadam, all that Veda Shabdam, Veda Swaram is one Surya Bhagavan. From him, he gives 7 ways in which we can chant that. So you look at him as Nada Purusha, you will see this. What other 7s? Sapta Urdhva Lokas. Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, Mahaha, Janaha, Tapaha, Satyam. All those he sheds light on. Within us, we want our ascension to be to the highest loka. We want these places to be activated. From here onwards is all the Urdhva lokas. Below this is the Adho lokas. The objective is Surya brings light to these places. So he rules over the Sapta lokas. That is one. What else? Sapta chakras in the human body. Those chakras yesterday we spoke about are Padmas. All those Sapta chakras are being activated because of Kundalini. There is one Kundalini which is going from the Mooladhara chakra till the Sahasrara chakra, and that Kundalini is making each chakra open. That Kundalini is energy. Now you will all agree when I say that Surya's Kiranas have both light and energy in them. That energy is also present in Surya over here. There is a Surya over here just as there is a Surya outside. Slowly we are going from Surya outside to Surya inside. With one name. What is the name? Sapta Sapti. We are counting and seeing how many different kinds of 7s. How many have come so far? We'll see how many more come. Surya within causes the 7 chakras to be activated. He controls the movement of the Kundalini across them. He is that primordial Purusha, that energy who is ruling over these Sapta chakras. This is one other aspect when you look at those, the horses as the Sapta chakras. What else? That's all, no? We should be done, no? Here is when, okay, Sapta Rishis, yes. But here is when Rishis Vijnanam, the wisdom of the Rishis, goes to a mind-boggling level. Yesterday I had mentioned that they had names given to each kind of Kiranas. Here, if you see different Puranas, they will give you different names, but they have named 7 Kiranas and said, these Kiranas are the 7 horses. These specific Kiranas. These horses are Kiranas. They are the personification of rays. Each horse or each Kirana has a direct effect on 3 things. 1. This Kirana is responsible for some other astral body being lit up and working. Second, that same Kirana, when it falls on the earth, it activates a certain dhanyam, a certain grain, and it activates a certain precious metal. So this Kirana is responsible for that graha to be formed. It is responsible for certain dhanyas and for certain ratnas to be formed. The wisdom in this is mind-blowing. Are you ready to take this leap? So the first Kirana, the first Ashwa is called as Sushumna. Sushumna is the Ashwa, the Kirana that goes and falls on Chandra and makes Chandra active. On the earth, Sushumna falls onto the grain of rice. Rice absorbs it. And it falls onto pearls found below the ocean, in the bed of the ocean. All of these are connected to Chandra Graha. The next Kirana that is spoken about is called as Udanvasu. Udanvasu activates the planet Mars, and it also activates something here on Earth. What is the grain associated with Mars? Everybody will quickly Google now. Navagraha Dhanya. We don't know. We buy it quickly in that plastic packet set. We don't know anything about it. Full grocery shop list will come. I will not tell you everything. I am deeply hoping that you will also go back and make some associations. What is the Ratna associated with Kuja? Coral. This we'll know because Ratnas are more fascinating than Dhanyas, no? This Kirana is activating a Graha, is activating a Dhanya, activating a Ratna. This Kirana is known as Udanvasu. The third is another Kirana that is known as Vishwakarma. Yesterday Vishwakarma was a character. That character is nothing but an extension of Surya. Vishwakarma here activates Buddha Graha, activates one Dhanya here. What is that? Sprouts, green gram, and one Ratna, emerald. This everybody will know. Then comes another Kirana that is called as Udavasu. For Kujagraha, it is Udanvasu. For Bruhaspati, the Kirana that activates Bruhaspati is called as Udavasu. Finally, or not finally, the next Kirana that activates Shukra Graha is called as Vishwavyachas. How many Kiranas done? And finally, sixth Kirana. One last Kirana that's spoken about, two more are spoken about. Surat Kirana, which activates Shani Graham, and the corresponding Dhanyam and the Ratnam. They said 7. Where is the 7th one? Now is where they make us think. 6 grahas so far. The 7th one, they have said, this Kirana falls equally on all the grahas and participates with that corresponding Kirana and activates that graha. This Kirana also causes the Nakshatra Mandala to be active. This Kirana is called as Harikesha. Yello kelangidala? Namo Harikeshayopavitine Pushtanam Pataye Namaha. Harikesha. Kesha means hair. Vaidikam. Kesha means Kirana. Harikesha means the one who is flooding the directions with his Kiranas. Keshava means exactly the same thing. We'll come to Keshava in some time. So we have given 6 grahas and one that is responsible for all of these. Surya is, we are calling Surya as a graha. What is a graha? A graha is not a planet. Look at that word. Earlier I said, let's remember that word grahanam. Grahanam means to hold. Grahana Shakti means to grasp, literally. Anything that has the power to grasp is called Grahanam. In Ayurveda, the small intestine is referred to as Grahani because it grasps nutrients from the food that we eat and then disposes of what is not necessary. So Grahana Shakti means in this universe, anything that can hold us and anything that can be held or anything that has the power to hold is called as Graham. It is not a planet. So then, we also have 2 more on the list, no? Why are they not here? Who are they? Rahu and Ketu. Why are they not mentioned here? We call them in Sanskritam as Chaya Grahams. Chaya means shadow. What does this mean? When do Rahu and Ketu become most active? During eclipses. During Grahanams. What do they do? Essentially, scientifically, what is happening at that time? It is shadows that are falling on the earth. Either the moon is getting in the way of the sun and therefore that shadow is being formed. Shadow, Chaya. Rahu and Ketu are not planets. This is Rishi Vijnanam. That they did not say, oh, grahas are mere planets. No, they said anything that has the ability to have a hold on your life and has a hold on your body, because the grahas are present within the body, and I'll show you in 1 minute which graham is situated. Whatever can hold you like that is called as a graham. Sometimes even a shadow can have an effect on you. That shadow is called as Chaya Graham. That is why Rahu and Ketu are not counted as planets. None of these are planets. Surya is not a planet. But Surya is called Graha Mandala Nayaka because he is responsible for all these coming into being because his kiranas are falling on each other being. And his kiranas not only fall outside from the universe onto our body, but within us. If we learn to connect to that Aditya, these kiranas that I just spoke about, these will each fall on us in a certain way and activate that graha to work well within us. Because whether we know anything else or not, we all love this idea of grahachara. Ask somebody, how are you doing? Yella chanagide, but yeno nan grahachara ingide pa. Kalane sariyagilla nange. Bhakti will not be there. Bhaya will be there max. Especially, no devata commands the level of fear that yesterday's graha devata got. One Shani's line will be longer than Hanuman's tail, but we will not have any tattva identification with it. Grahas are not simply here just to trouble us because they don't have anything better to do. Grahas are acting based on our karmas. Our karma in a previous life has dictated this person has done this and therefore they must reap this benefit in the next life. Grahas at the time of birth will align themselves in such a way that when we are born, all of their movement will bring those previous karmas back to us. So grahas are literally dancing to our tunes. Based on what we do, they are aligning themselves at a celestial level. But these grahas are present within the body also. Shastram talks about this saying, Chandra is here on the forehead. Kuja is hidden within the eyes. Kuja Graha Shakti is there in the eyes. Buddha Graha works above the eyes, near the eyelids, just in this area. Bruhaspati Graha is at the Kanthasthanam, at the place of the neck. Shukra Graham is in the Hridayam. Hridayam is also associated with creativity. Shukra Graham is associated with creativity. Shani Graham is in the Nabhi, the navel. Rahu and Ketu are in, Rahu is in the face and Ketu is in the feet. These grahas, for them to work properly, one namaskaram you learn to do to Aditya, these grahas will work properly. Because his kiranas have to fall properly and for everything else to move smoothly. So this much wisdom is contained in the idea that these 7 kiranas are falling and making everything work because of one glowing form of divinity. The one who is holding them is called as Sapta Sapti. If you understand this connection of 7, there are lots more 7s, but we are proceeding in the interest of time. If you understand this, when you do a namaskaram to him, you will see why we do it on Saptami. Sapta Saptavaha Prita Sapta Loka Pradipanaha. The one who illuminates 7 worlds. Saptami Sahito Deva. O Deva who is present along with Saptami Devi. Saptami Sahito Deva Gruhanarghyam Divakaraha. O Divakara, please receive this Arghyam. Surya is Arghya Priya. He likes to receive Arghyam because the entire concept of evaporation and condensation is contained in that little bit of Arghyam that you can offer him. Different devatas respond to different kinds of offerings differently. Surya in particular receives this. So when you do a namaskaram to him on any Saptami with this bhavam, that activation becomes that much more stronger. You can apply that astrologically, you can apply that philosophically, you can apply that through Bhakti Marga, whichever Margam it is. Surya becomes the gateway for any kind of growth. Spiritual, emotional, physical, any kind of it, it is Surya. This goes on, but there is something very, very beautiful to discover in the later set of names that comes. After Sapta Sapti Marichiman, Timiron Madhana Shambhu, Twashtam Martandaman Hiranyagarbha Shishirat Tapano Ahaskaro Ravihi, Agni Garbho Adite Putraha, O son of Aditi, Agni Garbho Adite Putra Shankha Shishiranashanaha, the remover of cold, Vyomanathas Tamo Bhedi, Rug Yajus Samaparagaha. Remember this. Rug, Yajus and Samavedas are all around him. Samaparagaha, Ghanavrishtirapam Mitro, Vindhyavidi Plavangamaha, Atapi Mandali Mrityuhu. Surya is called as Mrityuhu because he is killing things. Samhara in his hands. Atapi Mandali Mrityuhu, Pingalas Sarvatapanaha, Kavir Vishwo Mahatejaha, Rakta Sarvat Bhavodbhavaha. Nakshatra Grahataranam Adhipo Vishwabhavanaha, Tejasamapi Tejasvi, Dwadashatman Namostute. From here, Agastya took off. Dwadashatman Namostute. My namaskarams to the one who is present as Dwadasha Atman, 12 forms. What are those 12 forms? Yesterday we discussed this. That was yesterday, Vinay. Dvadashatman is what? What does the 12 signify? 12, Aditya signifying 12 months and the intensity with which Surya's kiranas fall on the earth in that particular month based on the distance of the earth from the sun. So 12 different levels of intensity are Dvadashatmans. How many Jyotirlingas are there? Jyotirlingas we call them. Jyoti. 12 Jyotirlingas, 12 forms of Surya. Surya is also Jyoti. Linga is also Jyoti. Dvadashatman means the namaskaram to Surya that is present as the Dvadasha Jyotirlingas. When you go to Shiva, how do you see Surya within Shiva? This portion will tell you this. Because from Dvadashatman Namostute, there is a direct lifting of Veda Tattvam and putting it into this portion. In Vedam, there is one portion where Veda Mata wants to do stuti to Shiva. And Krishna Premi Swamigal, he so beautifully said, Vedam also does Nama Sankirtanam. That Nama Sankirtanam is called as Rudra Namakam. Namas Somaya cha Rudraya cha, Namas Tamraya cha, Arunaya cha, Namas Shambhave cha, Mayobhave cha, Namas Shankaraya cha, Mayaskaraya cha. Can you see how much Namaha is coming over there? That Namaskaram is only Nama Sankirtanam. For Veda Mata, that Namaskaram is Rudram. In Rudram, who is Rudram addressed to? If any of you are familiar with the process of reading Rudram, you will see before Rudram is read, Sankalpam is made. At the time of Sankalpam, you will say, Asya Shri Rudra Divya Asya Shri Rudradhyaya Prashna Mahamantrasya. I am going to read this now. Asya Shri Rudradhyaya Prashna Mahamantrasya. Aghora Rishihi. The Rishi for this is Aghora. Anushtup Chandaha. It is in the Chandas of Anushtup. Now comes the magic. Look at this is one word, okay? Sankarshana Murti Swarupo Yosavaditya Paramapurusha Sayesha Rudro Devata. One word. We'll break it down. Sankarshana Murti Swarupaha Yosavadityaha. That Aditya which is present as Sankarshana. What is Sankarshana? The one who is keeping everything on its perfect axis and ensuring that the earth is not tilting by 0.1 degrees more than it should or less than it should. The one that is ensuring that the distance between every planetary body is maintained with perfect precision. That Karshana Shakti, to know how much to pull and how much to keep, that Karshana Shakti he has in complete measure. So he is called as Samyak Karshana iti Sankarshana. That Sankarshana is who? Aditya. Sankarshana Murti Swarupo Yosa Vadityaha. Sayesho Rudro Devata. He is Rudra. This is how they began Rudra. That Aditya is this Rudra that I am worshipping. They did not differentiate Shiva and Aditya at all. And then begins Rudram. When you read Rudram, you will see only Surya Namas there. Asau yas tamro aruna utababhrus sumangala. Asau yas tamraha. Tamra is the color of copper, which has red and yellow in it. Asau yas tamro aruna uta babhrus sumangalaha. Babhru is golden. From the time he rises, red mixed with yellow and then golden. This is the entire process of Surya rising in the sky. All the namas of Surya are coming in Rudram because we recognized that Surya's kiranas are Shiva Shakti. There are beautiful stories also in Purana that talk about the Tattvam. There is one beautiful story where Indra goes to Kailasa and Indra gets into a tiff with Nandi. So when he gets into a tiff with Nandi, Nandi kicks him and he falls unconscious. Everybody is so relieved. My God, after 1.5 hours, one story has come today. What to do? Our rishis have given us kathas that are filled with tattvam which is filled with kathas. So at what duration and in what capacity what comes, we have no say over. So when Indra gets kicked like this by Nandi, he becomes unconscious. When he becomes unconscious, in Kailasa, he's still very much in Kailasa, he has a dream in which Shiva tells him, there is a vigraham of mine that I want you to establish on the banks of a certain river. Go and do that and install along with me my dharmakantas, Usha, Padmini and Chaya. And go and do Aradhana for me over there. You will lose the dosham of having fought with Nandikeshwara, who is my Pramathagana. So Indra does this sthapana of this very murti that he finds in a kshetram that we today celebrate as Arsavilli, which is very close to Vishakhapatnam in Andhra. This is one of the most phenomenal Surya kshetras, where Surya's tattva is entirely identical to the Surya that you see over here. And that is entirely a coincidence. I did not even plan to speak about either Arsavali, nor did I know this form of Surya Narayana will be here. But Surya's presence in Arsavali is extraordinary. That is Indra Kritam, Indra Pratishthapita Vigraham. So Surya comes in a dream in which Shiva is saying, install Surya, it's no different from me. There are dhyana shlokas talking about this exact idea. That you look at Shiva inside Surya Mandalam, you will see only Shiva. Namah Shivaya Sambaya Sa Ambaya. Namah Shivaya Sambaya Saganaya Adihetave Rudraya Vishnave Tubhyam Brahmane Surya Murtaye. To that Rudra who is in the center of the solar system, I am bowing down. Sauramandala Madhyastam Sambam. Sambam is with her. Sambam Samsara Bheshajam Neelagrivam Shashankankam Namami Shivam Avyayam. Sauramandala Madhyastam, in the center of the solar system. So much importance because Shiva and Surya are no different. That is why from here onwards, from Dwadashatman Namostute, taking the Namaskara Bhavam of Rudram, because in Rudram out of 11 Anuvakas, from Anuvaka number 2 till Anuvaka number 9, everything is Namaskaram. That Namaskara Tattvam, that Saram, the essence of that Namaskaram comes from Dwadashatman Namostute. Namah Purvaya Giraye Paschimaya Draye Namaha Jyotir Gananam Pataye Dinadhipataye Namaha Jayaya Jayabhadraya Haryashvaya Namo Namaha Namo Namah Sahasramsho Adityaya Namo Namaha Nama Ugraya Viraya Sarangaya Namo Namaha Namah Padma Prabodhaya Martandaya Namo Namaha Brahmeshana Chuteshaya Suryaya Adityavachase Bhasvate Sarvabhakshaya Raudraya Vapushe Namaha. They left it with no doubt. Raudraya Vapushe Namaha. That Surya who is intense, Raudra Swarupam. To that Surya I bow down in Namaskaram. Because Rudra Tattvam, Surya Tattvam, identical. You want to look for Shiva in it. Another Rahasyam. Every Graha has two components to it. One is known as the Adhidevata. The Adhidevata of a Graha is what is the spirit of that Graha. For example, what is the spirit of Surya? It's fire. So the Adhidevata of Surya is Agni. The Pratyadhidevata is the ruling deity over that element. The ruling deity of Agni, of Surya, is Rudra. That is why on Sunday, technically we should do Shiva Radhana. But we are all familiar with it on Monday. Shall we go through this Graha list? Because at least that way you'll wake up a little bit and stop yawning directly at me. We'll go through this Graha list to see who is the Adhidevata of each Graha and the Pratyadhidevata to understand what is the system of worship that is designed in a Varam and how do you connect to each Graham in that particular day. So the first Graha, Surya Graha, Adhidevata, the element, the ruling element of this is Agni. The Pratyadhidevata is Shiva. Next day is Chandra. Chandra, essentially what does the moon control on the earth? Water and tides. So Chandra rules over, the Adhidevata of Chandra is Apaha or water. And Chandra is ruled by Gauri. The ruling Devata of Chandra is Gauri. On Monday, the reason we do Shiva Radhana is because we do Shiva Radhana of Shiva and Shiva together. Shiva and Gauri put together. When Shiva is with Gauri, Sa Uma becomes Soma. So that is another reason it is called as Somavaram. So this is for Monday or for Induvasaram. For Kuja Vasaram, Kuja or the element Mars, I will not say planet, Kuja Graham is born to Bhumi Devi. So his entire spirit is of Bhu, the element of Prithvi, and he is ruled over by Kshetra Palaka. The element, the next Graha, that is Buddha Graham, is entirely composed of Vishnu. So his Pratyadi Devata is Narayana. Bruhaspati Graham is ruled by Indra and his Adhidevata is Brahma. We all say, oh no, but Brahma nobody worships, no, as if we became the Supreme Court on the subject. Brahma is very much worshipped in Kalikalam as Guru Swarupam. There is a Brahma Sthanam in a Yajnam that happens. Brahma means learned one. We worship Brahmavetas only when we do Guru Parampara Stotrams. When we do any kind of Guru Vandanam, we are worshipping Brahma because it is his wisdom that we are recognizing. That is why Thursday is meant for Brahma Aradhana, which we do through Gurus. Shukra is ruled by Indra's wife Shachi, and Shukra's Pratyadi Devata on Shukra Varam, one is supposed to worship Indra. But we don't worship Indra on Friday. Why? Because Indra was given riches by Mahalakshmi. He was given the position of Indratvam by Lakshmi. So instead of going to the boss, we go to the boss's boss. That is Mahalakshmi, and say, directly coming to you, Ma, this is easier. Shani is ruled by Prajapati, and Shani's Pratyati Devata is Yama. That is why yesterday in the Katha I told you, Yama coming on Saturday is not a coincidence. Similarly, Rahu is ruled by the Pitru Devatas, the Adi Devata, and the Pratyati Devata of Rahu is Durga. That is why they say during Rahu Kalam, doing Durga Aradhana gives Manasika Balam. Because Rahu can work on the mind in very strange ways. Reaching out to Rahu's boss ensures that he will go smoothly. Ketu is ruled by Brahma, and Ketu's Pratyati Devata is Chitragupta. In some versions you will also see Ganapati. That is why Ketu is connected to this. But this is the concept of Adhidevata and Pratyati Devata. If you connect, you will see that there is a connection and a porosity that works between both of them. All we have to be able to do is make that connect. When in the context of astrology, it's important to understand that fear does not have a place and should not have a place when we worship the Graha Mandalam. All we need to be able to do is bow down saying these are cosmic forces at work outside and inside. If I live my life doing good to myself and to others, I need not constantly be worried. There is a respect for the system that is necessary, and there is wisdom in seeking help when necessary, but you certainly don't have to watch the TV every morning to know, should I make a direction, should I travel in southeast direction, because God help you if you have to go northwest. Then in Bangalore you will go all the way to Hebbal and then go to Silk Board because you saw that TV. The idea is we have gotten so caught in the commercials of things, we've lost the essence. The essence is, these are cosmic forces. Let them do their job. Respect them, revere them, don't fear them. Recognize that all you have to do is one namaskaram, and then things become that much more beautiful and open to you. This namaskara bhavam is up till this portion. Raudraya Vapushe Namaha. Slowly the stotram concludes, much to most of your relief. Because as the stotram concludes is when we realize the essence is hidden in the last few words. Raudraya Vapushe Namaha. He continues from there and he says, Tamoghnaya, Himaghnaya, Shatrughnaya, Bhas. After this? Kritaghnaghnaya Devaya. This is the essence of Surya Aradhana. Kritagna and Kritaghna. 2 words. Essentially, if we have to keep aside too much philosophy and make it very basic, we are alive because of Surya. Surya's kiranas are falling on Bhumi. Bhumi is being kind to us and allowing life to emerge from her. We eat the food from Bhumi, which is caused because of Surya's rays, and we are surviving. Are we acknowledging that? Those who acknowledge that are called as Kritagnyas. Those who do not acknowledge that are called as Kritaghnas. If we constantly look at what is on the plate and not recognize the hand that is feeding, that is a disservice to God. When we say Annapurne Sada Purne, we are recognizing the hand that is feeding and saying, Amma, this is coming from you. That Annapurna Shakti is there in Bhumi Devi. That Annapurna Shakti is there in Surya Kiranas. Surya is fond of those who remember that cycle, who remember to be grateful, not just to him, but to any being that is bringing us any kind of kindness. If you show them back gratitude, Surya recognizes that. That is why now, when Rama was apparently appearing despondent, Surya came to him. Why? Because Rama constantly thought about everybody else. Even when Rama was suffering without Sita, imagine this news. He has just found out that his most beloved being has been kidnapped. He doesn't know where, he doesn't know who. Keep aside Paramatma. We are talking purely from the context of the story. He doesn't know anything. In that moment, he's lost all heart. And we all think of Rama only in a certain way as Maryada Purushottama. But you want to see the most forlorn and the most unhappy and dejected Rama, you should read that portion of the Ramayana where he's without Sita. Lakshmana says he doesn't know what season is going on. He only knows one season is in his heart. Sita, Sita, Sita. That's all he says and he's crying. Even when Rama is like that, moments after he just realized what just happened, he went, Lakshmana followed him, Sita was kidnapped. If only Lakshmana had stayed. All this is running through his head. In that moment, he sees a vulture screaming in pain. And he goes, he pets that vulture and that vulture attains mukti. As if that is not enough for the vulture, he builds a pyre, places that vulture on it, and sets fire to that pyre, ensuring that it will not go anywhere but Vaikuntha. Narayana, who takes care of all the worlds, himself comes and does this for the sake of that vulture, when this Narayana is in a human Vesham who is suffering. Despite his suffering, he is thinking of this bird. Why? Because when he came to Panchavati, they met Jatayu then. And Jatayu said, I'm your father's friend, I'm Dasharatha's friend. And Rama said, oh, it's like having my own father over here. And Jatayu used to watch over them when they went around close by. So Rama would always remember that and say, oh, Jatayu is taking such good care of us. In our lives, is there space for gratitude for people who are nourishing us? Because Rama remembered that. When he burnt Jatayu, he said, he took such good care of me, he sacrificed his own life for my wife. So it is my responsibility to send him to Urdhvalokas. That gratitude Surya remembered and said, now for such a being who has spent his entire life thinking about others, in this moment I will come for him. That is exactly what you mean when you say Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Paryupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. For those who are dedicated to me in some form or the other, through service, through love, through japam, through bhavam, through mantram, through tantram, whatever way we dedicate our lives to Paramatma through, he will take care. When? Nityam. Not one, today I'll take care, tomorrow I'll take a weekly break. I will take care of this being constantly. Yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Their well-being is my responsibility. And he came now to show Rama that. Rama is no different from him. But he came as a context to show that. And as the Aditya Hridayam goes on, as it concludes, it says, Sarva Yesha Ravi Prabhu. This Ravi is everything. He's there, he's here, he's around us. And this Ravi, the essence of this Ravi has been given to Rama. Saying, you look at your Ishtadevata inside this Ravi, connect with him. That connection only is Dhiyo Yonav Prachodayat. Let that light you up, Rama, Agastya is saying. And as soon as this is said, Sarva Yesha Ravi Prabhu, he tells him, when things are not okay, Yena Mapat Sukrucheshu, Kantareshu, when you are alone, when you are in solitude, think of him. Kantareshu bhayeshu cha kirtayan purushat kaschit navasi tati raghava pujayasvenam ekagro. He gave that underlined word, ekagrata. Concentration, focus on him. Pujayasvenam ekagro deva devam jagatpatim yetat trigunitam japtva. You read this thrice. Yuddheshu vijayishyasi asmin kshane mahabaho ravanam tvam vadhishyasi. In that second, Ravana will go. You will already have killed him. And Rama does this. And when Rama does this, Valmiki writes, Param harsham avaptovan. He's so happy. All that shokam has left him. Why? Because he connected to that source of light and realized that light is everywhere. I don't have to fear. I don't have to feel this lack of connection. I don't have to feel desolate anymore. What picked him up? Surya picked him up. What picks us up when we are feeling dark, when we are feeling low? Light picks us up. If somebody is sitting in a dark room, their mood will be worse. Switch on the light, the mood automatically becomes better. Because such is the power of light that it brightens our soul. It did it. Ramachandramurti is Parabrahma, but he showed us as an example that if it can happen to him, it can certainly happen to each one of us. How do we do that connect? Through a simple namaskaram, through an arghya pradhanam, through remembering that, oh, Surya is rising, let me treat him like a loved one and let me be ready before he comes. If a guest that we like is coming to our house, we won't sleep in and say, let him come when he comes. I'll wake up when I wake up. We'll wake up earlier, go and receive them. This is only if we like them. If we don't like them, it's a different discussion. Can you develop that attitude towards Surya? That's why they said, get up before Surya. Be ready to welcome him. When you do that, something changes. Your attitude towards, it's not just about physical health. Your attitude towards God changes. God becomes a loved one. Rama did this. Rama then, Trirachamya Shuchir Bhutva Dhanurada Yaviryavan. And then he took that sankalpam saying, I will be able to now defeat him. And the Devatas watched Rama with this renewed confidence, struck that arrow, and in the very next chapter, Ravana was gone. Because when Aditya Hridayam has been learnt, not by hearted, when the essence of Aditya has been internalized, there is light everywhere. When there is light everywhere, darkness is gone. The darkness here was personified as Ravana, was gone. That is the essence of this. How do you connect with this Aditya? That is the last thing I'd like to leave us with today. If you are comfortable, would it be okay for us to meditate on for a few minutes on the Surya Mandalam? Because Surya has been given this phenomenal, or Surya has been seen with this phenomenal visualization of a Ratham. The Ratham is not given to too many other Devatas. There are contexts when they use the Ratham. But for the most part, the Ratham is always with Surya because Gamana Shakti, that which has the ability to move, is the Ratham. This body is also called a Ratham. Namo Rathebhyo Ratapatibhyascha Namaha, we say. This also has the power to move. Within this Ratham and within the Vishwa Ratham, there is one force that is smoothly ensuring that all of this is moving. That force is known as Parabrahma, Surya, or any of the 127 other names that Aditya Hridayam calls out to him as. Now the interesting thing about this Ratham is, this Ratham, this Mandalam is massive. And it has one wheel. That one wheel is what we spoke about yesterday as the Samvatsara Chakram. That Samvatsara Chakram in the universe spans over 9,000 yojanas. One yojana variously being described as 13 kilometers. It is that massive above and all around us. So when they ask us to do Ratha Dhyanam, it is a way of seeing Surya all over us in a massive size. And the Ratham and the Mandalam, that space around Surya, is a very powerful one. So that's why I'd like to conclude with us just with a visual of this. And as I do that, I invite you to close your eyes. It is also Madhyana Sandhya. It is also a Sandhya Kalam right now, entirely planned by his Sankalpam, not mine. So at this time to do Surya Aradhana on a Bhanuvasaram at Sandhya Kalam with that blessing in place, all we have to do is tune in now to Divya Akaram, that divine formation of the Mandalam, the space around him. We will go stage by stage from the outward to the inward, leaving us with the Vapuhu, the body of the central one inside. When this is over, we will conclude with one rendition of Aditya Hridayam and then allow that to stay in our hearts. So the first portion of the Mandalam, spreading several thousands and thousands of yojanas far in the sky, that far away, the very first set of beings that are around this Mandalam, they're dotting the Mandalam, are the personifications of Vedas. Three kinds of beings are there: Ruk, Yajus and Samas. These are entirely in white, Shubhravastro. In their Shubhravastrams, they stand and they read Veda mantras. They read it every second in the universe. We cannot hear. But when you do Dhyanam, you can. They are all chanting. Alongside them, circles and circles, concentric circles of rishis are standing and reading those very Veda mantras addressed to Surya, addressed to Parabrahma. One more circle inside is a host of Gandharvas singing Suryanamas, playing various instruments, Veenas, Mridangams, Venu, Vadyam, Talam, Ityadi. All of these beings are singing in such joy for that Mandala Purusha, for the one who is inside, in the center. And on each person's face, there is a smile as they sing. On each of the rishis' face, as they chant, there is a sense of joy. There is Amshuman sitting on either side of their smiling lips. For each being, there is a massive connection to the Mandala Purusha because they are feeling that Surya inside them. As you go closer and closer in the circles, you will see that there are Vidyadharas, Kinnaras, Kimpurushas, Siddhas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Devatas, all circle by circle as we go closer to the center. Beings that you may or may not recognize, but they all have their role to play in doing stuti to the Parabrahma in the center. Then fix your gaze onto 7 massive horses. In green color, if you look at them as the source of photosynthesis. In 7 colors, if you look at them as the source of light. As 7 notes, if you hear them as the source of sound. As Sapta Chandas, if you hear them as the source of Veda. As Sapta Lokas, if you see them as different realms. Those horses are also at peace with themselves, and they are moving second by second, galloping at a speed that is so fast, yet they are so comfortable. Around those horses are rishis known as the Valakhilyas, who are offering Surya Arghyam every second, constantly. When that Arghyam is being offered to Surya, they are all chanting the Gayatri Mantra addressed to him. Those horses, meanwhile, are being held firmly by a charioteer whose name is Aruna. And Aruna is holding the reins on those Saptashvas so firmly. Behind Aruna, in a massive chariot, this chariot has 4 visible entrances on the east, on the south, on the west, and on the north. And each of those golden entrances is towering. Each entrance door is kilometers. Each entrance door has the Navaratnas and has Devatas standing around it. On the eastern direction, there is Kartikeya and Shiva standing at the doors. In the southern gates is Yama and Chitragupta. On the western gate is Varuna and Sagara. On the northern gate is Kubera and Vinayaka. And once one sees within this chariot where all these devatas are standing, one sees a central beam of light, massive. But we see what's around that light before we go to that light itself. Around that central beam of light, we see to its left Indra standing with a danda and the Vajrayudha. Agni standing to the right, glowing and known as Pingala. We see to the left of Indra one Ashwini Kumara, one horse-faced being, and to the right of Agni on the other side, another Ashwini Kumara, another horse-faced being. With all these beings surrounding him, each of them powerful, radiant, yet peaceful, the Mandala Purusha, the Mandala Antargata Purusha, the central beam of light within, is glowing. Observe what you see there, and this is your personal observation. Whose feet do you see? Whose legs do you see? Whose thighs? Whose vastram? Observe the kati, the waist of that being. Observe the nabhi, the navel. Observe the vakshasthalam, the upper body, the being that you are seeing. Bow down to them. If you see them as masculine or feminine forms of the divine, observe their hands. It is your Ishtadevata that is appearing in the mandalam. Observe how many hands they have. Observe how the hands are glowing, holding ayudhas, padmas, or anything else that they may be holding. Bow down to those very ayudhas, to whatever they are holding in their hands, because what they are holding in their hands is for your welfare. Observe the shoulders on which those hands are kept and placed. Observe the neck, the sturdy neck, which keeps all of this torso positioned well. Observe the face, the eyes, which are radiating with love and life, the nose, which is inhaling life into your heart right now. Observe the smile, the gentle smile on that being's face. Observe the ears, the soft ears. Observe the hair and where it is moving towards. Observe the kirita, the crown of this being. Observe the light that comes from them, that is radiating from them, and observe the sound, the nadam that is coming from them, that is radiating from every pore of their being along with the light. Observe them in complete. Do a namaskaram to that form, to Indra, to Agni, to the Ashwini Kumaras, to the Dwarapalakas of the 4 gates, to Anura, to the Sapta Ashwas, to the Eka Chakra, to the Mandala with the Rishis, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Kinnaras, the Kimpurushas, the Rakshasas, and all the other Divyajatis that you saw. And ask for that shrine, that entire chariot shrine, that mandiram, that Ratha Mandiram, to be stationed in your heart. Whenever you feel complete, you can remain with your eyes closed as we begin Aditya Hridayam chanting, that is being addressed to that being. Invite you to resist the urge to open your eyes. Just remain with it, with the Mandala Purusha or the Mandala Stri, whoever is appearing to you, and let this Aditya Hridayam be dedicated to them.
Gurureva gatihi gurumeva bhaje, gurunaiva sahasmi namo gurave, naguro paramam shishurasmi guroho, matirasti gurau mama padi guro. Tato yuddha parishrantam samare chintaya sthitam, ravanam jagrato drishtva yuddhaya samupasthitam, daivataischa samagamya drashtum abhyagatoranam, upagamya bravitramam agastyo bhagavan rishihi, rama rama mahabaho shunu guhyam sanatanam, yena sarva nari vatsa samare vijayishyasi, aditya hridayam punyam sarva shatru vinashanam, jayavaham jape nityam akshayam paramam shivam, sarva mangala mangalyam sarva papa pranashanam, chinta shoka prashamanam ayurvardhanam uttamam, rashmimantam samudyantam devasura namaskritam, pujayasva vivasvantam bhaskaram bhuvaneshwaram, sarvadevatmakodyeshah tejasvi rashmi bhavanaha, esha devasuraganaan lokan patikabhastibihi, esha brahma cha vishnushcha shivaskanda prajapatihi, Mahendro dhanadah kalo yamassomo hyapambatihi, pitaro vasavasadhya yashvinau maruto manuhu, vayurvanhi prajaprana rudratta prabhakaraha, aditya savita suryah khagah pusha gabhastiman, suvarna sadusho bhanuhu swarnareta divakaraha, harirashva sahasrarchihi sapta saptirmarichiman, timiron mathana shambhu svashtamartanda amshuman, hiranyagarbha shishiraha tapano bhaskaro ravihi, agnigarbo dipe putraha shankha shishiranashanaha, vyomanathastamo bhedi ऋग्यजुस्सामपारकः घनवृष्टिरपां मित्रो विन्ध्यवीथीप्लवङ्गमः आदपी मण्डली मृत्युः पिङ्गलः सर्वतापनः कविर्विश्वो महातेज रक्तः सर्वभवोद्भवः नक्षत्रग्रहताराणाम् अधिपो विश्वभावनः तेजसामपि तेजस्वी द्वादशात्मन्नमोऽस्तु ते नमः पूर्वाय गिरये पश्चिमायाद्रये नमः ज्योतिर्गणानाम् पतये दिनाधिपतये नमः जयाय जयभद्राय हर्यश्वाय नमो नमः नमो नमः सहस्रांशो आदित्याय नमो नमः नम उग्राय वीराय सारङ्गाय नमो नमः नमः पद्मप्रबोधाय मार्ताण्डाय नमो नमः ब्रह्मेशानाच्युतेशाय सूर्यायादित्यवर्चसे भास्वते सर्वभक्षाय रौद्राय वपुषे नमः तमोघ्नाय निमग्नाय शत्रुघ्नायामितात्मने कृतघ्नघ्नाय देवाय ज्योतिषाम् पतये नमः तप्तचामीकराभाय वह्नये विश्वकर्मणे नमस्तमोभिनिघ्नाय रुचये लोकसाक्षिणे नाशयत्येष वैभूतम् तदेव सृजति प्रभुः पायत्येष तपत्येष वर्षत्येष गभस्तिभिः एष सुप्तेषु जागर्ति भूतेषु परिनिष्ठितः एष एवाग्निहोत्रम् च फलम् चैवाग्निहोत्रिणाम् वेदाश्चक्रतवश्चैव क्रतूनाम् फलमेव च यानि कृत्यानि लोकेषु सर्व एष रविः प्रभुः येन मापत्सु पृष्ठेषु कान्तारेषु भयेषु च कीर्तयन् पुरुषः कश्चित् नावसीदति राघव पूजयस्वैनमेकाग्रो देवदेवम् जगत्पतिम् एतत्त्रिगुणितम् जप्त्वा युद्धेषु विजयिष्यसि अस्मिन् क्षणे महाबाहो रावणम् त्वम् वधिष्यसि एवमुक्त्वा तथागस्त्यो जगाम चेथागतम् एतत् श्रुत्वा महातेज नष्टशोको भवत्तदा धारयामास सुप्रीतो राघवः प्रयतात्मवान् आदित्यम् प्रेष्य तत्पातु परम् हर्षमवाप्तवान् त्रिराचम्य शुचिर्भूत्वा धनुरादाय वीर्यवान् रावणम् प्रेष्य हृष्टात्मा युद्धाय समुपागमत् सर्वयत्नेन महता वधे तस्य धृतोऽभवत् अथरविरवदन्निरीक्ष्य रामम् मुनिगमना परमम् प्रहृष्यमाणः निशिचरपति संशयम् विदित्वा सुरगणमध्यगतो वचस्त्वरेति इत्यार्षे श्रीमद् रामायणे वाल्मीकीये आदिकाव्ये चतुर्विंशतिसहस्रिकायाम् संहितायाम् युद्धकाण्डे आदित्यहृदयम् नाम सप्तोत्तरशततमः सर्गः।
With that, we leave you with the bhavam of the mandala antargata tattvam that you saw is for you and you alone. So keep whatever you saw and go back to it, because this dhyanam has been facilitated by so many people chanting for you and enabling your dhyanam. For it to happen consistently, use columns such as Sandhya, and more than textbook explorations, remember to stay true to your internal exploration. Samba did exactly this, and to wind up the story which we began, to close the loop on that, Samba was guided to set up a Surya Kshetram, not to set up a Kshetram, but to go. Can you have another mic? Can I have another mic? So I can finish. Vishnu 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 Samba received that instruction. In one version, he goes to Kona Arka, Konark. In another version, he goes to Mitravana. Mitravana is in Multan, which is now no longer a part of India, but it is a Surya Kshetram. And he did his Surya Aradhana there. Find your own Surya Kshetra. It can be your own terrace. And connect to him there. And that's where the magic happens. Surya appeared to Samba, and he was cured of his leprosy. Whatever mental afflictions we also have been or are going through, Surya will take care of that. That is my sincere hope. With that, I just want to say thank you to all of you. I know that today has been longer than yesterday, but I trust that you received it with the intention with which it was given. It was not intended to be extending, but the subject matter deserved it. Surya deserved it, and he commanded it. So I just followed that instruction. But thank you for joining, and there was not a single pair of eyes that were open during the entire Dhyanam exercise. So thank you for trusting the speaker with that, and thank you for letting the Aditya Hridayam flow into you through the chanting, through the Upanyasam, and for making this Aditya Upasana and not an Upanyasam. It has been 2 phenomenal days that I was very daunted to take up because I felt I do not possess the scholarliness to take up a subject like this. So I approached it only from Preeti Bhavam, and for whatever mistakes on my part that have occurred, I ask for forgiveness. But these 2 days have not been easy for the organizers to put together, and I know that, but Swabha has really supported Bhagavat Katha, Bhagavat or Bhagavata Sangam, and that Satsangam is special because when we come together and we sit with something for long enough, the seeds of sadhana get sprouted there. For others, they germinate there. For others, they get watered there. All of this has been facilitated tirelessly by this team of Savitaka, Swarnaka, Neelanna, Pavananna, and so many others who have done such a wonderful job of putting this together. So deepest gratitude to them. And this lovely Surya Mandala that is behind me, this Surya Bhagavan that is here, I know the creative hands that are behind this. So Shanti, thank you for facilitating this and making this come alive as a Shakhadvipa where Surya is. For all of you for being so wonderful, and to, I think, the Tapovriddhas who have made this special, because this doesn't happen often. I hear my own voice way too much, and very rare is it that I have the blessing of sitting and just allowing goosebumps to just happen when I hear Bhagavan Namam coming like this. And this has been so special because they were so alert and attentive throughout that responses kept coming from here. This is such a blessing, and to honor that blessing, I would like if we can stay back for a few minutes, because we would like to honor the Vidya that they represent in a very special way, which I will tell you about in just 2 minutes. I know that it has been longer, but to leave when the Katha may have finished, but we have to pay our acknowledgements to all those that have made it happen. So I think for this, what I would like to do is, these wonderful Vidyarthis that you see here, I wanted to honor them with something rather than just clothes, because we live in a time and place where adding more textiles to an already overburdened environment, fragile environment, is not having any benefit. Rather than that, if we can look into the existing system and see where we can recycle, see what better things we can do, and still convey our gratitude. When I reached out to Dr. Shanti Timula of HSR Citizen Forum with this very idea, she immediately volunteered to make bags out of unused blouse pieces. For those of you, I'm sure, in how many houses do you have at least one unused blouse piece? So this is Newton's 4th law, which he designed when he came to India during Shravan Masa. He said blouse pieces are neither created nor destroyed, they are simply passed on from one house to another. As light as that statement is, the fact of the matter is, it is a lot of textile waste that is sitting in our homes. This was taken by Shanti Akka and her team, and they made bags out of this. And they are also here outside if you would like to get in touch with them and contribute your own blouse pieces or any other material that bags can be made out of. It will save that many plastic bags from reaching landfills. And in these, we have placed small things that we believe can make these Vidyarthis go forward in their own environmental journeys, because we cannot respect Surya and the Panchabhutas unless we are respecting them in our actions, not through our words alone. So the bag has a notebook like mine, which is made out of recycled paper. It has a small steel glass and a steel dabba that we hope that they will take wherever they go and not succumb to paper cups and plastic cups and disposables. And in that way, we honor Surya in every part of our way. So can I invite Shanti Akka to join me in stage in honoring these wonderful Vidyarthis? She needs no introduction, by the way. She's doing phenomenal. She's the definition of a karma yogi for me. Yesterday, one of my friends had noticed her coming. He didn't say anything to her. He came and told me in the night, he said, her face has varchas. By her varchas only, I recognize that it must be Shanti Garu. Tirelessly, she has been working for causes such as menstrual cups and greening the red, moving from sanitary pads towards this. If you just go to Kalika Kendra in HSR layout, you will see what magic she is doing with Bhumi Devi. She is a living breathing example to me that sustainability and spirituality must go hand in hand. So it's an honor to have her come all the way from HSR for 2 days. This morning she had another event which was to stop the metal bars around trees. If you've noticed, most of them are placed to protect the trees, but when the trees grow bigger, they tend to choke them, and then we fill it up with plastic as if it's a waste bin. She has personally spent this morning unclogging this and several other mornings. There's not a weekend when she's not working. Go to Banshankari temple if you want to see what work she has done. But I think with that, I would invite you to connect your spiritual process to a sustainable process and merge them into one as we honor these people.
Dhanyavada, Vinay. I'm speechless. I request Swabha core team members to come and present memento to Vinay.
Dhanyavadaha to each one of you present. Please be with us for the next few minutes so that it will be a Paripurnam. Surya Atma Jagatas Tastu Shaschetihi. This is the Mahavakya which is given in Aruna Prashna. Dhanyavada is not it is a simple word is what I feel for these 2 days what we have experienced. I would like to thank people who have collaborated with Swabha for this event in particular, and I would like each one of you to associate in some way or the other with all our collaborators, which makes more meaning to every one of us. I take this opportunity to thank GGSS for coordinating with us to enhance these sessions with their wards, and their valuable contributions are gratefully welcome. To honor their participation, Swabha will be presenting them with a memento to the trustee of Geeta Govinda Samskrita Sangha. Vinay has already mentioned about the beautiful hands which support us with these beautiful backdrops. So the ones which are made out of coconut leaves, Mr. Natarajan is behind this, and the beautiful idol that you see, the Murti that you see, is handmade by Srimati Usha Murti. Srimati Usha Murti and Sri Murti, please accept a small token from us. We would also like to thank Sri Balakrishna Murti and Srimati Padma family for generous contribution towards this program as donations. Thank you very much for Dr. Shanti. Again, we have introduced her already and you have all heard about the kind of work that she is doing. Please connect with Dr. Shanti, and heartfelt thank you to Dr. Shanti to be part of our endeavor. We would like to thank Telugu Samsthi here who have provided the hall, the sound system, etc. I would request Mr. Ramakrishna to come and accept our token of appreciation.
I think this is working. I just want to say, speaking at this particular venue has been that much more special because the library that is right behind this, the Granthalayam, is named after my mother's grandfather, my great-grandfather, Sri Teneti Vishwanatham Garu. And I felt his presence yesterday evening when unaware to myself, I spoke about the story of Taittiriya Upanishad, the Titri birds eating what Yajnavalkya threw up, that very Taittiriya Upanishad my Muttata Garu has written a Vyakhyanam on, so I presumed it was through his Sankalpam and blessing that came. So it feels that much more special to speak at a place which was named after him.
We would also extend our Dhanyavada to Skyline, who are partnering with us for web streaming the whole program from yesterday, from start to the end. Thank you very much for Skyline. We are also holding hands with Vyoma Labs, Learn Sanskrit from Home. They have put up a stall outside and they are also partnering with us. The cloth banners that you see behind the Surya and the banners here in these panels are Vatapi Creations. Megha is an artist who is drawing all these things digitally and printing it on cloth, and it has been put up in the venue. And thank you, Vatapi Creations. All these wonderful moments will remain with us forever. Simha Motion Caps is the name behind Sri Simha, who is quietly and without disturbing any of us during the course of Katha, taking all wonderful pictures to keep it in our memory forever. We would be remiss in not expressing a huge dhanyavada to the audience, both offline and online, for being such a wonderful participants, and not acknowledging their participation will be like wrapping a gift and not giving it. So thank you each one of you who are present here both online and offline. I would also like to recognize the names of the children who have chanted from yesterday till the end of the program. Lakshmana, who is the senior most teacher, who was a junior student earlier in GGSS. Now he is the teacher who is leading all these kids now. Deyanta R. Sharanya Bhatt, Rudved Nayak, Aditi R.S., Mahakartik Shastri, it is Mahati Kartik Shastri, Medha Gargi, Jagriti, Gauri, Anagha, Sai Ankit Jadhav, Harshal BK, Aditya, Jayashri, Sri Ram Ramkumar, Arushi Shandilya, Anirudh Shandilya, Harshal. And I would also make a special mention to the volunteers from Swabha team, Mrs. Sujata, Sri Nitish, Sri Guru Raj, Srimati Kanchana, Srimati Vidya Praveen, Sri Shreyas, Sri Rajiv, and many more of them who have helped us so much in putting up all these together for the last 2 days. And a few announcements before we all disperse. There is a prasadam which has been arranged. Please have the prasadam and take it along with you. It has been prepared very specially, and we would like to distribute it at the entrance when you exit. Without fail, take it with you. I have not forgotten to thank Vinay. So, dhanyavadaha to Sri Vinay Varanasi for his wonderful contribution over the last 2 days to enlighten us with the insights. Let us hear little more louder applause for him. For many more programs to come through Swabha, and we will meet you all in one another program like this in the near future. Thank you very much. If you want to connect with any of our collaborators, we have left their Instagram handle names and the websites. Please make a note and get in touch with them. Thank you.
Also, if you want to join Swabha, there is a QR code. You can join as member, volunteer, sponsor. We have many upcoming programs. We'll be announcing shortly. There'll be a series of programs. One will be on Ramayana. It is coming up shortly. Please join us. Thank you once again. We are looking forward to seeing you all and hosting another event. Thank you.